The dim glow of the clock radio bled into the blackness of our bedroom, its blue digits stabbing through the silence. 1:27 a.m. That faint light felt like an intruder, exposing the suffocating tension that gripped the room. I stayed perfectly still, my back to the door, feigning sleep though every nerve in my body burned. For hours I had been awake, lost in a relentless loop, one detail gnawing at me. Her car rolling into the driveway 10 minutes before she said she'd be home from her hospital shift. 10 minutes. Such a small thing, yet louder than any spoken confession. The mattress sank under her weight, a shift I once welcomed but now felt alien, unwanted. She moved carefully, slipping beneath the covers with the practiced grace of someone hiding guilt. That soft rustle of fabric used to soothe me. It had meant comfort, home. Now it was the sound of betrayal. I didn't stir. My body was wound so tightly I feared I might shatter. My breaths came shallow, careful, as though even the smallest sound would give me away. Anger surged within me, icy metallic, bitter on my tongue. She lay beside me like a stranger in the night. And then the silence broke. A sharp gasp escaped her. I knew exactly what she had found. Her hand trembled as she clutched the folded piece of paper I had placed exactly where she would see it. I rolled over, unable to resist watching her reaction. Moonlight spilled across her face, illuminating wide, horrified eyes as they raced across every word I had written. Her lips quivered, but no sound came, only the broken rhythm of her breath. That letter had consumed me for weeks. I hadn't written it with venom, but with a raw honesty sharpened by betrayal. I told her how empty I had felt, how the warmth of our marriage had faded into something cold and lifeless, how her lies had extinguished the light in our home. At the end, one brutal sentence sealed it all. I know about him. Her voice cracked the silence, fragile, trembling. Steve, how do you know? I met her gaze, my expression unreadable. My voice came flat, stripped of emotion. Does it matter? I had pictured this moment 100 different ways. Anger, screaming, collapse. But none of that came. Only a chilling calm. She looked back down at the letter, as though the words might offer her some escape. But they wouldn't. It doesn't matter anymore, I said quietly, though every word carried weight. I've known for weeks. The late shifts that weren't, the whispered calls, the perfume that wasn't mine. I've known. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She clutched the letter against her chest like it could shield her. Please, Steve, she begged, her voice splintering. Please don't, I made a mistake. Her words hit me like acid. My jaw tightened. A mistake? I echoed, my tone sharp, bitter. I shook my head slowly. No, ally. Not a mistake. A choice. One you made again and again. Every time you lied, every time you went back to him. That wasn't an accident. That was betrayal. She sobbed harder, but I felt nothing. The woman beside me wasn't the one I had loved. She was a stranger. I stood, pulling on my clothes with deliberate calm, the air between us heavy with things that could never be said. She looked up at me, desperate. Where are you going? She whispered, fear lacing every word. I tied my shoes, paused, and looked at her one last time. To pay someone a visit, I said, voice steady, offering no explanation. Then I left. The drive passed in a blur, every mile drowned by the storm inside me. By the time I pulled up to his house, my hands shook on the wheel, my knuckles white with fury. The porch light flickered weakly as I climbed out. He opened the door after a few knocks, a smug grin already plastered across his face, the same smirk I had seen in the photos that shattered my life. Can I help you? He asked, his voice slick with arrogance. I let the silence hang between us before stepping closer. I think so, I said evenly. My eyes locked on his. I'm Steve, Ally's husband. The color drained from his face. The grin died. He tried to slam the door, but I wedged my foot in and forced it open. It slammed against the wall as I shoved my way inside. You've been sleeping with my wife, I spat, each word laced with venom. His stammering excuses barely reached me. I grabbed his collar, pulling him close. You thought you could steal what wasn't yours? You thought I wouldn't find out. The fury I'd been caging broke loose. My fists crashed into him again and again, all the pain and humiliation pouring out with each strike. My knuckles split, blood mingling with sweat, until he collapsed on the floor, broken and silent. When it was over, I stood above him, chest heaving. He was nothing but a pathetic shell of arrogance. I turned without a word, stepping back into the cool night air. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe, yet the relief was shallow, fleeting. Violence hadn't erased the betrayal. The wound still throbbed. The days that followed blurred with lawyers, documents, and goodbyes. Ally moved out. She begged, tried to explain, but I couldn't listen. Her voice was poison. The memory of her clutching that letter would never leave me. In our small town, secrets never stayed buried. Her affair became gossip. The nurse once admired was now shunned, reduced to whispers and stares. He too lost everything, his job, his reputation, his status. The golden boy tarnished, left to hide from the world. And me? I was painted as the victim. People called me strong, resilient, a survivor. They offered sympathy, respect. But inside I felt nothing but emptiness. I went through the motions, work, bills, obligations, hollowed out, the spark of life gone. Years have passed, yet the ache lingers. A phantom wound that refuses to heal. Sometimes I catch myself wondering where it all began to unravel. But then I remember. The letter, her eyes when she read it, the sound of her pleading. And I know. Some betrayals carve too deep. Some wounds never close.